why I wasn't able to put all the background stuff in.
That's awesome. All right, guys. So hopefully Michael joined in today, but I'm going to go ahead and start. So great to see everybody. Hello. Welcome to none other than Digital PNA. Again, great to see everybody. Let's go ahead and get this party started. That's my bobblehead. I'm the president for the year. That's wrapping up reasonably soon. This is membership. As always, I want to remind people that I love being Santa, not Fat Santa. I like being Santa, so don't be judgy, Zach. I want to give people a reward if they help me fill some of these other spots. We've got plenty of vacancies category wise. And I'll pay $100 if we get someone to join pass the rigorous vetting process, which is a nice way of saying, are you breathing? Yes. You have a business? Yes. Done. Um, Kidding. It's a little bit more severe than that. Anyway, updates. We're up to 4150 closed business for the month. There might be some more. Hint, hint. If any one of you have earned any income I don't know about, please let me know. Put it in the chat window. I'll update the document that I use to track. No new members, that's okay, but the referral count is going up. One-to-ones are going up. And again, if you have any of those, drop that in the chat window and I'll add it to these numbers. But not too shabby for July. Appreciate everybody trying to connect outside of the meetings. Let's get some information, excuse me, some roles assigned here. So we need a videographer and video clipper. Who wants to do that? Zach is speaking today, so he's off the hook for any responsibility. JP, let's give that to you. You can
I'm
do
the
it.
photographer.
Yeah, you can do a screenshot, or you can even turn around, use your cell phone, snap us behind you, whatever. Do
Okay.
something like that. And of course, the whole point of all of these things is you can turn around and put them on your social medias if you care to, LinkedIn or the Book of Faces, anything along those lines, and help syndicate what we do here at Digital PNA. Tracker meme maker, who wants that? There's literally two people left, Marcel or Rosie. M's raising their hand. Okay, you got it. Rosie, you willing to update your story today at some point?
Yeah.
Maybe be less ambiguous than you are with your BNI posts, because we all know it's a BNI post, woman. Why can't you just say BNI? So maybe today do a non-ambiguous post. I don't know. Anyway, um, oh, we've got JP coming back in the room. Something just happened. All right.
To take a screenshot and it dumped me out of here.
Oh, that's funny. It's not you, it's me. No. All right, so you guys know the drill. I'm going to go ahead and kill the screen share. Let's give the bestest possible 45-ish second commercials. I'm going to put the order in the window, but let's start with Zach because we promised to forget everything he says during his commercial because he's speaker today. So Zach, hit it.
All right. Well, as you know, I'm Zac with Skeltis Fitness, and I'm primarily helping career professionals and weight loss clients achieve health, appearance, and function in an efficient manner so that the individuals I work with don't have to adjust or sacrifice their other responsibilities. And it is possible. It is possible.
Marcel, you're up.
Excellent. So I just wanted to share, I have this little meme maker notebook that I had custom created because I really believe if you think something sucks, like paper, and you're bored of lines, you should recreate it. And so I want you to think for a minute, what tool would help your team, whether you're counting protein or counting AI bots or counting, I don't know what, like what would be the handwritten version? Well, I do predominantly social media. Occasionally, like this actually helps for storyboarding for people. But I get people to kind of break the tools that they're using and recreate them so that one, they can develop thought leadership, and two, get their customers holding paper or branded content from them. So when you guys are all up here in a couple weeks for the barbecue, I'll make sure you each get one of these because when we do the meme maker portion of Digital PNA, this comes in very handy because it forces you to create in the shape of a social media content as opposed to using a long boring piece of paper, which was originally designed by a man in the 70s. The typical spreadsheet. There's better ways to create. So be encouraged. If you want help breaking boundaries and creativity in your mind, I would love to support. All right, JP, you're up.
Does rock carving help? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Let me see. It's been a while since I've done this. I'm JP, as you well know, proactive. Basically, what we do is help you grow your business and show you how to use AI to do so. Using AI for not only efficiency, but research, outreach, messaging, and see how you're doing. Do the analytics against how you're doing, and we can do it on just phenomenal scale. So currently, I'm able to run somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 simultaneous conversations, and that's not a scale that most people would want to even think about. But if you're looking to outreach to customers, or just come up with ideas on what to say and who to target, happy to help.
15,000?
It's nuts.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Nuts.
Sorry, that's just crazy.
Rosie, you're up.
Alrighty. So, as you all know, Rosie with Tap Services, and one of the things that I want to focus on, so I want to tell a quick story about a client that I met with this last week. And these are the type of people that I like working with. So I want you to hear the story where I essentially just helped him plan for his business. What I mean by that is he's a reader of Profit First, just like I am, and he wanted my opinion on so many different things, and also, making sure that he's saving for taxes. Is he good on his owner's comp? Is he good on, this and that? And 3 hour conversation with him. And I loved every minute of it. And the difference, this is where I'm different than other bookkeepers. I don't charge him for that time. It's included in his flat monthly rate. And so he likes that because I'm there to support him in his business, because if he grows, I grow. So that's how I view businesses. So essentially, if you know anyone like that that is really wanting someone to kind of guide them and that they're going to listen to my advice, I would love to work with people like that. So Rosie with Tap Services. And next is you, Brian.
Actually, I switched it because Mike got it. So Mike, go next, my friend.
I am so sorry I'm late, and thank you very much. It's great. One of my favorite meetings of the week, every other week. JP, you mentioned 15,000 separate conversations. Rosie, you mentioned how you're talking to one person going deep. I like to think that we at the Puget Sound Business Journal sometimes are able to do both. For example, we will be publishing a best lawyers insert into the Puget Sound Business Journal. That's in association with the company that does that research. Who are the best lawyers in the market? In effect, we get this giant list, 2,200 lawyers who will be designated as best lawyers, and then we work the list to try and derive additional advertising from them. That's a perfect opportunity for me to use the skills I learned from JP to get 2,200 conversations going at the same time. But also, we want to talk to some specific law firms about doing more in-depth advertising in this piece. Those are the things that I could learn from Rosie and going deep with a conversation and being consultative and being and offering my opinion on whether or not that is a good ad buy for them. If you know of companies that need to get to market quickly, we can do that transactionally. We can do that quickly. We can use artificial intelligence services and avatars to have lots of those conversations. If you know somebody who doesn't know what they need yet, I'd love to talk to them too. I can offer them consultative services. That's what we do. That's what we endeavor to do at the Puget Sound Business Journal. I'm Mike. I'd love to talk to your folks.
Love it. Hi, everybody. Brian Trendler. Gosh, JP talks 15,000 and Rosie goes deep. Well, Marcel and I like to scratch your surface. And I say that because recently, about 2 weeks ago, maybe three, doesn't matter. The story still works. No one's going to fact check me. This isn't politics. I was sitting with a fellow PNA member out of another chapter, and she was lamenting all the stuff going on in her organization. And guess what? We only scratched the surface during that phone call because after a couple of during the sit down, because after a phone call later and then some emails, I realized that below the surface is an unhappy organization, high turnover, inability to deal with customer situations that are uncomfortable, like how to diffuse situations when people come in mad, come in steaming hot, that sort of thing. And she realized I need to get a proposal from LaughTech. Brian and Marcel need to come in and teach my branch, hint, hint, a branch. What could that be? I don't know. But maybe my branch and up to 4 other branches in the Pacific Northwest that need our services. So it's a really neat thing because I may not be having 15,000 conversations online right now, but trust me, they're in my head. And in order to generate that proposal, thanks to JP, I used some of the skill sets that he trained me on to take my big vomit proposal and clean it up using some suggestions in the paragraphs and the wordings by way of AI. And we don't have the business yet, but they're very, very interested. And they were very pleased and sent us almost a love letter back and how thorough and specific and focused the proposal was. So A, P&A rocks. B, I like scratching. And that's my commercial. Okay. So we're going to go exactly in reverse. So aside from my dumb lawyer humor in the chat window, take a look at the advertisement order again and just cross your eyes maybe or turn your head upside down. It'll go backwards because here's the tangent. We're all going to speak toward the tangent now. And this one's for Marcel. And she'll be mad at me about my answer. Okay. What is stopping you from creating a video every day about your business? Now, in all fairness, Marcella hasn't done it every day also, but she's done a hell of a lot more than me. And in my case, I've got maybe 2 or 3. But this was actually raised in another chapter recently, and the answers were very interesting. Accountability is what was the biggest issue and the biggest excuse, maybe, or the biggest claim. No one has enough accountability. Now, my brain is like, well, A, they need to hire Marcel, or even LaughTech from the training perspective. But I am the hypocrite there. I have not created a video every single day about PNA Northwest, for example, or about LaughTech, or about my design business, or about anything. And maybe I need to. So I'm actually considering doing a 100-day test or maybe a 90-day test so it falls within a quarter and to see if there really could be some, oh, I don't know, results generated from me just blathering on like I am right now. But could there be something in it? So for me, it's accountability. And honestly, it's fear because I think we all have a little bit of imposter syndrome. And all the time in my head, I think, why would people want to listen to me? What do I have to bring to the table? And I think we all get that. I'm not really being self-deprecating. It's just those little voices in our heads. So even I need to get beyond that, even though I love being on stage and everything else. But when the SHIT hits the fan, sometimes I don't think I can do it. So maybe we'll see. Next up, Mike.
Let me get on audio here. I think it's time management. I think it is important. It is proven effective institutionally here at the Peterson Business Journal. There are other people in other markets who do exactly that or close to it and have seen real lift in terms of their ability to get more meetings, to break through the clutter, uh, to generate more revenue. So it's a I think, Brian, your idea of setting it up as a test is a good one. So I will endeavor to do that. It's carving out time.
Okay, I think that's me next, right?
Yep.
Okay. So it's interesting enough. So the last revenue ringlets meeting that Marcel had, I was there and I got to steal her for 2 hours. No one else showed up. So we actually did a video on the spot, and she showed me how to do a screen recording based off a conversation that I had with the client. And I did it, and Marcel, I just looked at my insights. 336 people viewed, and I was just like, holy cow. and like 100, at least 100, if not more, were non-followers. And so I was like, wow, okay, so people are watching. And she gave me the idea of like taking one day out of the week, doing like 4 to 5 separate videos, and then scheduling it for one every single day. But just doing a video on one day because, my stopping point at that, or, what I was telling her, I'm like, I'm just so busy, and she's just like, well, they don't have to be long. And why don't you schedule one day to do all the videos for the week so that you don't have to worry about it later? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I can do that. So I'm actually going to try it this Friday because I'm going to Olympia. So that would give me a lot to talk about because I'm meeting with networking people or clients and personal appointments and all this stuff. So essentially choosing a day where I'm busy and there's things to maybe randomly talk about as far as my business and things that I meet with clients. So you can hold me accountable, Marcel. Check with me next week, okay?
Awesome.
I guess that means me next, correct?
Yep.
There's nothing stopping me. I create videos every single day as I am creating one now. There's your answer.
Okay.
Is every time I'm on a call, it's a video call and it's recorded. So I create videos every day about my business. Now, the security issue of doing that and trying to put it out online somewhere, I'm not sure there's much value in me doing that, is the honest answer to it. I already put out 2 to 3 blogs a week through all kinds of different channels and talk to multiple people every day. And I'm just not sure I could easily do it and I could have an avatar do it. If you want to see a funny one, go to my website and look at the avatar of me. I had my mom cracking up because whoever created it has never met me before. Looks nothing like, sounds like me, doesn't look like me. But to stay on topic, there's nothing stopping me from doing it. I just don't know that I necessarily see the value in doing it for my particular business. And it could easily be done, and it could easily be done with an avatar. So it'd take me 0 time to do it if I thought there was a value in doing it.
Interesting. All right. Marcel.
Yes, very interesting. Well, I'm dropping my video from this morning in the chat because I'm taking credit for a publicly posted video today.
Nice.
But my inspiration for it came from this weekend. I got rejected by about 200 people, but 62 people said, yes, I'll take your survey. It was a creativity survey. And the research, I just did some quick math and counting up. And over half of the community was craving direction around creativity. They were craving direction. How do they storyboard? What is the creative mindset? How does improv connect to it? Do I need to write it out first? Do I need a script? How does AI play it? So people are in the game of video right now on a pretty epic scale, and I think they're just craving encouragement, direction, and honestly somebody to go talk about it. So my ask, and part of why I don't do more, is I don't get people saying, Marcel, that was fantastic. Thank you. Like, give me a thank you. Give me a like. Give me a comment because, and this one this morning was about I'm doing more videos coming up because I'm going to do a morning video and then an afternoon kind of like happy hour here at the house for people who are local because I want to encourage the people who want it, but they may not know about it if you don't share that video or like it or comment. So that's my ask. And I think just kind of to respond to JP, because I got the stage, I want to share about it. Some of the videos don't make a difference, but some of them will. Sometimes the client will come to you and say, I've been watching you for years and I'm ready to go. And that is the best freaking feeling. Even though they don't say like today, here's all my money, but they will be like,
Understood.
I'm ready to go. And they just trust you because they've seen your journey, they've seen your authentic sharing, they've heard your perspective. And they don't want to start new with somebody else, even though you may have no idea who they are, but they know a lot about you based on what you've been willing to share and all the motivation you may have given away for free. Anyways, I'll pass it to you. Looks like Zac.
Yeah, I think on this topic in general, I haven't done a ton of marketing. Honestly, mostly out of the sake of not really fully understanding what my niche is or being specific enough about it. So I think I'm getting to the point with working with some weight loss clients and GLP-1 clients where I can actually offer I can offer something very specific, which I think will get me to where I finally want to be, which is like, this is a concrete offer. And now I just need to get more people to know about it, if that makes sense. So, because I honestly, in my case, I didn't want to get to the point that's like, you're posting a lot of vague, non-specific stuff. And I think I'm about there. I think I finally know I think I finally know what my offer is and how to market it, if that makes sense. So I would say more than anything, I just didn't want to end up wasting a bunch of time, if that makes sense, even though it's like, yeah, like once you know, hey, this is your prototype, so to speak, then you want you want as many people to know about your prototype as possible.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, I can't think of any better way to introduce you than to say thank you for that. And here is the big screen. This is Zac Skeltis, Skeltis Fitness. Zac, how long have you been in business and how long have you been in the industry? Tell us real
So
quick.
I've been in the industry 8 years, and 6 of those has been working for myself.
Okay.
So
Fantastic.
yeah, so yeah, pretty much I had like just started working as a trainer when COVID happened and was like semi-forced into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I can go down that rabbit hole another time, but
Gotcha.
things are good now,
Okay. Where you want to share screen today?
Yeah, actually, I made a very caveman-esque PowerPoint, but I think you guys will like it.
We all like cavemen. Trying to get to the participant section here. I will make you host. You are host officially. You can start. And at 10 minutes, I'll give you the yellow background for me. So try to keep my bobblehead on the screen. If not, I'll just interrupt briefly and give you the time. At 19, if you do take all of 20, I will give you the heads up. You've got a minute left. Okay.
All right, sweet. Yeah, and I'll keep I was just trying to figure out how I get to slideshow.
On the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll have a share button, right? And then make sure you share the screen where the slideshow appears.
All right. We're sharing. Yeah, I see the entire screen. There we go. Share system.
That's us. There you go. Down on the bottom, right next to your Zoom up and down is a little tiny mini screen. That's where you can hit. Oh, I meant on your PowerPoint deck. On the bottom right, where it's got the slider from 0 to 90, just on the left side of that slider is that little tiny icon. That's your slideshow icon. There you go. And you're on mute. Interesting.
Share really quick.
Gotcha.
There we go. Okay, it's off mute. All right, we're back to share. Share. Perfect. Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you.
All right, perfect. Let's finally do it. Excuse all that. All right, so I am Zac with Skeltis Fitness. And today I actually wanted to cover some of the actual ins and outs of what I do with clients and essentially all of the methodology. And then at the end, tie it together to like what that actually looks like with working with clients so that it's not such a vague representation of what I do. All right. So What I do is I help create health, fitness, and appearance in a time-efficient manner. And yes, during these crazy times. So it is a huge part of the industry, dealing with people who are dealing with a high workload, whether they're business owners or working multiple jobs or doing those things and also having a family. It can be really difficult to produce results because if we were all in the NBA, it would be pretty easy to set aside 90 minutes to go to the gym every day, but it's pretty difficult given the fact that we are all professionals at the same time. Specifically, I mostly work with busy professionals and weight loss clients, and this does include individuals taking GLP-1s. It's actually up to about 1 in 8 adults in the US are either on GLP-1s or are taking them. And so I'm trying to take the expertise that I have and tailor that to help those individuals because I think it's honestly a gold mine. And I think a lot of people on GLP-1 medications are also not getting a comprehensive service. They're just, here's your injection, and then they're not actually getting the advice and how would I put it? Really just the overall comprehensive package that they need in order to keep the weight off and not lose lean mass as well. Health, fitness, and appearance is high maintenance. So everybody knows this one, and it's a brutal reality. But the reason I put this in here is just that it actually has to be a lasting change to your habits in order to continue to reap the benefits. So we can't just get in great shape one time and hope for the best that it will stick, because it absolutely won't. It's pretty frustrating. Like if you get an injury, you can get weak pretty quickly. Like if you get in great shape and you start letting yourself go again, you can also, reap the not fun benefits of that as well. And then this last point is that, there's a lot of business to be had within health, wealth, and relationships. And health is one of those because a lot of our well-being is actually derived from our physical self, including our confidence. So it can bring you down a few notches from where you're already at, or it can actually lift you up more to really be taking awesome care of yourself. So I put in here, like if you're sick or injured, it's rough. Health scares and flights of stairs. I threw this in because you don't want to be, you don't want to feel like you have obstacles just getting from the store back to your car and back. Obviously, everybody cares about looking good naked. So I put appearance. And then just function and longevity. All right, so what do you make with it? I know nobody wants to do the work that is required to get what they want physically, and it really can seem like a chore. Diet, working out, it can really seem like a chore. So, I actually get paid to help people do stuff that they don't want to do, that they know they need to do. And I put this fourth bullet point on here. I have 6 kids, a husband, an ex-husband, and 2 jobs. When am I going to get around to any of this? And I totally understand that because that's most of what I'm dealing with, which has really forced me to learn how to be efficient and produce results with the limited time that people really have. All right. How to get in badass shape during the apocalypse. So the biggest thing here is that you don't really need to spend a ton of time eating right and meal prepping, any of that. And you also don't need to spend a ton of time actually in the gym. Most importantly, you actually just need to have some kind of system or set of patterns for what you're eating and what you're putting your body through when you're working out. So essentially, intense doses of the right things in the gym are going to produce results. So smart work is really important here. And also when it comes to eating, which we'll talk about in a second, it's really important that you actually set up a system where you have food staples that are little to no prep time that you'll actually eat consistently, because so much of where people go wrong is that there really wasn't a good plan to start with, essentially. So I also put on here for everybody except for elite level competitors, it actually doesn't need to dominate your life. Like if you're trying to win jiu-jitsu tournaments, or you're trying to become a professional bodybuilder, like it would certainly dominate your lifestyle for sure. But for everybody else, you can get really significant results without that much time. And understand too that your effort to outcome is very logarithmic. So like 0 hours of strength training versus 1 or 2 hours of strength training is going to be maybe 50% of the total progress you would make. Maybe you could make another 50% if you spent 12 hours a week in the gym, but it becomes diminished returns pretty quickly after really not that much time. Okay. Everybody knows this, like, really your pillars for health, fitness, and appearance is like what you're putting into your body and the stimulus you're putting on it. Obviously, like sleep matters also, and doing some mobility and soft tissue work so your body doesn't feel terrible are also important. But so much of it is really just coming from what you're eating and what you're putting your body through. So I wanted to really cover some important paradigms within these and then loop back around to what this looks like when I'm working with clients. So I promise I'll bring this full circle so it's not just theory, but actually application as well. Okay, so when it comes to nutrition, shout out to Rosie, because I know you're always talking about this with people and their taxes and their income versus expenditure. Honestly, the first thing is that a lot of people don't really have an awareness of what they're eating each day or what their averages are. So if you ask them, like, do you even know what your caloric maintenance is? A lot of times they don't know. And you can really find this out within just a week. For a long time, apps were the big buzz. And now you can honestly just use AI and like snap pictures with a small description, and it will help you figure out what your macros were for that day. And I also put too, yes, like the white label app that I use also makes it easy as well. We're going to get to that actually, because this is actually pretty cool. Like everything is essentially on one calendar tab. So it's kind of like a video game, including adding your nutrition. Like you'll be able to see on a digital calendar everything from each day, which is pretty cool. As far as nutrition goes, this is a huge one. I feel like nobody really talks about, which is whether you're losing weight or maintaining your body composition because you're happy with where you're at. When you're valuing your weekly numbers more so than your daily numbers, it gives you a great balance of accountability and flexibility. So like even somebody who is losing weight or in the middle of losing weight could say, I know what my weekly totals are that I need to hit, and the Super Bowl is on Sunday, and they can allot a bunch of junk food and rum and cokes or whatever to that day and still hit their weekly numbers and not have a setback. So this is a big thing I get people aware of when we're working together. Another one, and this is like, there are so many food fads out there. This one is also very integral. I think I'm also right at about 10 minutes. Is that right? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I couldn't find mute. You are at 7.5 minutes.
Left or into it?
Into it.
Okay, cool. Got it. So essentially, there are so many false food pyramids, and there also are a lot of food fads and food diets. But one of the things that is the most important, whether you're actually trying to get really muscular or really fit, or you're just doing it for longevity, or you're trying to preserve muscle mass while you're losing weight, etc., is actually just eating a pretty high protein diet. I did make a cheat sheet that includes all the different dietary restrictions people have, like gluten-free or vegan, pescatarian, keto, etc., so that people can really start establishing maybe 10 to 15 high protein foods that are little to no prep time and actually build out from there. I think the next slide is actually all about nutrition. Yeah, protein. So cool. It gets its own slide. That's what I thought. So one of the reasons this is so important in not putting on excess weight is that it's a lot more satiating to eat a lot of protein. So I put in here an example that 6 Oreos is 300 calories and that 5 hard-boiled eggs is also 300 calories. But naturally, you're going to be a lot more full after eating the 5 hard-boiled eggs. And also just put that retaining muscle while losing weight. This is going to be really important so that you're actually full while you're on a caloric deficit, but also maintaining your lean mass if that's accompanied by strength training. In the case you just want to get as strong, athletic, and jacked as possible, it's also true you're going to need a lot of repair from the stuff that you're doing. And then I just put some stuff that relates more to the layperson as well, because this matters to everybody and not just people who are either like really trying to lose a lot of weight or, you know, hit a big powerlifting total. You know, you want to be able to play with your grandkids or go on a hike or, you know, get the dog bag out of the dog food bag out of the trunk, you know, by yourself and have no problem. That's pretty much it for this slide. Okay, so when it comes down to resistance training, I'm going to start with the last bullet point because a lot of people, you know, you'll hear so much information about how, you know, your physique and your health is like 80% nutrition and 20%, you know, your exercise. And honestly, I think you should work outwards from resistance training being the priority for a lot of reasons. And essentially, it is the fountain of youth. Okay, so whether you're just trying to be healthy or you're trying to look good or you're trying to enhance self-defense because you're already taking, you know, you're already training martial arts, or you just want to get your blood sugar down, you will find articles constantly that are like, yo, strength training was like the best thing for reducing dementia, or, you know, lifting weights is the best thing you can do if you're pre-diabetic to lower your blood sugar. So essentially it is the fountain of youth, and I think everybody really needs to do it or should do it for their own good. And I really think too, the layperson, as I put in this last bullet point, really underestimates how important physical strength is in regards to whatever outcome they have. So, you know, everybody should be 10% meathead, if that makes sense. All right, so how this actually works. As far as logistics go, we talked a little bit about food, but in regards to your resistance training, it doesn't need to take a ton of your time. So I put this quote because I think about this all the time. More isn't better, better is better. So what I really mean by this is, like, let's say somebody did 1 set of 10 on deadlifts with 100 pounds. It's better that, you know, the next time they go to the gym, maybe they can do 105 pounds for a set of 10. And in the long run, even if they only did 1 set of 10 on that one exercise, but they went from, you know, 100 pounds for 10 to 300 for 10, it's a lot better than making mediocre progress at like 15 different exercises. So right off the bat, people have to, it would behoove people to think about their training this way in the gym, which means it doesn't need to take a ton of time. You're just trying to exceed the quality of your sets, which is ironically quantity, like more weight, more reps. The programming gets sticky, but really not until you're at least intermediate. So I put in here as well, this concept that's developed by competitors applies a lot to the average person. Because you see so many people when they start getting into the gym, they think they got to go do, you know, 10 exercises for 3 sets of 10 or whatever at the gym. And you really don't. Like I'm about to break down what, like which exercises to do and how simple this actually can be in a second. But before I get to that, like what I would sell is that literally in 1 hour per week, the average untrained person could double their physical strength and honestly do it in like less than a year. And I've seen this a lot because I have worked with a lot of people who either don't like resistance training or people who are just really busy, you know, tech workers, business owners, lawyers, doctors, etc. And from ground zero to just adding one session a week, that's just really no bullshit. I've seen some pretty crazy transformations, and in many cases, literally being twice as strong in under a year from that 1 hour of quality work. So again, it's not shotgun theory, like go become a meathead and do 10 to 15 exercises, 5 days a week at the gym. It's really more about actually getting better at the things that you're training. So I have probably covered this Punnett square a million times because I think it is the most visually useful way to think about strength training or resistance training, which is just breaking the body up into this Punnett square between upper body and lower body pushing and pulling. So this is actually really simple. Essentially, your upper body, like your metas for upper body, are really pushing and pulling. Any exercise where you're pushing and pulling perpendicular to the torso and pushing and pulling parallel to the torso. Within lower body push pull, basically a squat or lunge is just your hip is standing up and down on one leg versus two legs and getting your hips lower than your knees while you do so. And then if you look at lower body pulling, that's really just picking stuff up. Any type of deadlift where the hips stay higher than the knees, or even like a hyperextension machine where you're just hinging and strengthening the low back, glutes, and hamstrings. Just getting good at even one thing in each of these with a lot of progress is going to get people like 80% of what they could get at the gym. You know, there is the caveat that like you can definitely supplement this and progress even faster. And you may want to do a little bit of gap filling, for example, but this really covers about 80% of it by itself. So you can see this could be like 4 exercises you train each week, a couple sets of each, and you're golden as long as you're getting better at those movements. Okay, so resistance training during this sci-fi time that we're in. Just to reiterate, making progress at less things is just way better than, you know, staying stagnant or having mediocre progress at many things. I guess I already kind of touched on this intuitively on the previous slide, but yeah, even progress at one exercise in each of these 4 categories will take you really far. So it is going to be intense. Like, I'm not going to lie, like there is no way around the natural law that effective resistance training is pretty difficult, but it doesn't need to suck up all of your time, which is the biggest thing. So between the food, stocking the right foods and centering your diet around those staples that are low to no prep time, and making progress at the most effective movements in as little volume or time as possible, even though it's going to be hard work, is how you accomplish this without it totally dominating your life. All right, so bringing this full circle, and we'll get to look at like what the app looks like in a second too. Essentially, I offer one-to-one coaching, and for almost everybody I start working with, I usually recommend at least like 1 or 2 sessions, because a lot of people, even if they are disciplined enough to do work on their own, they need to learn how to do those exercises correctly. And a lot of times up front, they need more feedback on nutrition, because you're basically just setting the trajectory. So you've got to get the trajectory set right. Some people continue wanting one-to-one sessions or calls all the time and are willing to pay more because they just need the accountability. They're like, yo, I like hate working out and eating healthy. I need someone to just stay on my ass. But naturally, where people are at evolves depending on their personality and how that initial period goes. So this is where introducing online coaching also helps a lot, because you can give instruction and accountability without having to be there for every single workout that person does. Or maybe you don't need to check in as often about their food as they start to really get the habits mostly dialed in themselves. And that goes back to the previous point about where people are at really evolving. Now, also, even for one-to-one clients, I get everybody on the app, because you're going to see in a second that the calendar tab on the app that I'm using puts everything into one spot, which I think is really dopaminergically rewarding. Like, I think people get a lot out of having everything all in one space rather than like, my food's kind of this. I did go to the gym the other day. Ah, that's right. I did take that walk, that long walk on Sunday. You can just open that tab and see everything, whether you're not doing enough or you're doing really well or anywhere in between. Finally, I am essentially almost finished now with a free and paid school community that is going to primarily focus on helping weight loss clients and GLP-1 clients. I think the ability this will really allow me to scale as well, but it's also great for people who are, how do I put it? Where like strength training and fitness is not their number one thing, because they can actually, struggle and win with others who have the same pain point or pain points. I know I only have like a minute or two, so this pretty much sums up the flow of where people may get the best value, and there is a lot of flexibility based on each person's needs and where they're really at. All right, guys, I promised you cool stuff, so I put this in here. Finally, cool stuff. Within the ABC Trainerize app that you get to put your cool white label logo and stuff on, this is kind of what this looks like. So once somebody becomes a client, and this is what I was talking about with it starting to look like a video game, over on the left, this is, once you're in, there's a million features that you could use, but to keep it as simple as possible on this app, I like to do almost everything on this calendar tab, because for a certain day, like I picked a client who's really active with the app. Essentially, you will have any scheduled workouts just put right on the app. They can add their own meals. Like when you hit this plus sign, you can add any of these things. So you could add a progress picture, your weight, any measurements, if you're drinking enough water. If you decide like here, he trains Muay Thai, so he put this in here and weighed in himself. We were tracking his food for because he's cutting. Also within the workout tab, this is pretty cool. I will put specific instructions that I actually write right here, and then the client will get access to that. But then they also get, if they're ever confused on what that exercise is or looks like, they get a video demonstration right here. And then there's an option for them to see their previous numbers when they did that movement and then put in new ones for that workout. So it's very extensive. It's all in one place, which is cool, because I think the more you can turn each thing, just like, maybe like when Rosie's talking about income and expenditure, when you can see everything in one spot, it does become more rewarding and sort of like a video game, even though you're having to do a bunch of masochistic hard work. Well, like it's not the most fun video game, but it's very rewarding. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
It's fantastic. You actually are at 21 minutes, so you're pretty much spot on. Great job, man.
Thanks.
Go ahead and kill your share screen when you're ready, and let's open it up for comments, everybody. I'm sorry, questions, comments, whatever.
Wait, how do I kill this share screen? Sorry,
you already did.
You did.
Oh, sweet. Sorry, guys. This is my life.
Put the gym weight down. We got this. No, I'm kidding. Zac, I gotta hit you with the question of all questions, because I don't know how many of us know how much someone like you costs, and I'm scared to know the answer because I know I'm on a tight freaking budget. And I'd love to have all the money in the world to throw at you to make me, the size of a German tank like you are, but I don't think anyone has enough money to do that. So give me an idea. Are you monthly? Are you hourly? What's your preference? Whatever.
Oh yeah. So the way I have it set up, even though a lot of I can already hear like every business coach out there being like, nah, bro, like you gotta have one offer and like just yam that one high ticket offer. Honestly, I don't really do it as such. So I do have one-to-one sessions. online workouts and feedback for nutrition. And there's also going to be cohort. So I'm expecting cohort to be something extremely reasonable, like $100 a month type of thing. I charge $100 to $110 per session. A lot of people end up becoming dual clients because they want some one-to-one time, but it's a very budget-friendly option. So if somebody wants daily nutrition feedback, it takes me about a half an hour a week. So I just bill that as 2 sessions in addition to whatever else we have. And then as far as workouts go, I'm just charging $75 a month for how many days a week they want training scheduled into the app. So you could mix and match. It would be like a lot of people go like, hey, I just want like one hour phone call with you a week, or excuse me, one hour Zoom a month and 2 workouts a week to do. And I just want to be able to text you if something goes wrong or if I have questions. So they could say, hey, like you're getting that 1 session and a couple workouts a week. That's $150 for the 2 workouts per week put on the app. And $150 a month for those twice a week workouts on the app, and $110 for that 1 drop-in session. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So do we work out in front of you on Zoom like an idiot in my 1970s spandex? Or like, I mean, how does that work? Can you explain that? Because that to me sounds ridiculous, meaning you don't want to see me in that. But I mean, like, how does that work?
I mean, I would prefer 80s spandex, but yeah, it's
okay. That's fair. I can shop on Amazon like anyone else.
No, so it actually, not all of the one-to-one time has to be working out. That's totally up to you. So some people want to do, a weekly remote session. Like I have a gym space that's about 550 square feet. So I do, live one-to-one training and remote. Like if you have a setup, I have a few clients that are in the Seattle area who just do that because they're like, dude, I got a gym at home or an apartment gym. I'd rather just go downstairs, put my camera on a tripod and, have you train me once a week and then put some stuff in the app. So to answer your question, like the one-to-one time is just whatever you want it. You could do, you could save that as just like you want a half an hour phone call every other week and the rest is just where we don't even necessarily need to work out. But for a lot of people, that is what they want. They want, some time each month to get one-to-one time. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Questions?
Yeah, so I have a question. So take for example, if it was like a husband and wife situation. Brian's laughing because he knows both Steve and I work out. But would you, I mean, is it basically like 150 times 2 if we used you once a week or once a month? How's that work?
No, so honestly, I only tack on 20 to whatever the rate is. So because it's not actually taking that much more work and I'm trying to be pretty reasonable. You'll find that that's not uncommon. So like, yeah, for every additional person, if you add a little, you can make more per hour, but it's not super unreasonable. And a lot of times it's a great win-win. Like I have a couple of couples who do that because they're like, yo, like we can bundle, like that's, if we're paying 60 or 65 each a session, like, that's cool. We can train a little more often and I get to make more for that hour. So that's how I set that up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought I had another question, but if anyone else has it.
I have a question. Would you ever write a book? Because I got like so much motivational content from you, buddy. Like you're a motivator.
Go. Boom.
I don't know which meme I'm going to share, but I got like 20 to pick from. So I think you do have a motivational side. I think it's fantastic.
Chaz Michaels is figure skating. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Sorry.
Zac, how many clients do you have right now?
I think I'm at 29 clients total.
Wow.
Because on the app I'm paying for 30 and it keeps yammering at me that I have like 1 seat left. And a couple are like archived. So it might be like 5 less than that. It's probably like 24.
Fantastic.
Impressive.
Congratulations. That's great.
Oh, now I remember my question.
Perfect timing, Rosie. The floor is yours, Rosie.
So question in the sense of weightlifting. So I've lost weight recently, and I'll share it during the testimonial time, mostly because of food tracking and doing all that. But I noticed that I lost, not that I lost the ability, but the heavier weights are a lot heavier than usual. Is that common? And does it just take time to build back up, or, you know?
This is a great question. What I would say is like, so a couple things. Like, you want to have at least one thing in that Punnett square that you're tracking. And I get what you're saying. Like, you may be doing upper lower push pull movements.
Mhm.
I would almost say, like, be pretty deliberate about how fast the weight is coming off. So if somebody's losing 1 pound a week, it's not that big of a difference week to week, right? Like, if someone was like, I'm 179, the next week they're like, dude, you're 178. The same dumbbells aren't going to feel crazy heavier because you're almost the same mass. So that's, I would say, the ideal way to ensure that you're maintaining or building new strength is just going slow enough at the weight loss that you can actually still maintain to build new strength. But at the same time, if you end up, let's say someone was like, you know what, I don't care if I lose some strength, I'm going to lift as hard as I can. I want to lose as much body fat as possible. And if some strength comes with it, that's fine. Because once you're back to homeostasis, like, let's say somebody lost 30 pounds and then they were just maintaining weight. Now it's very doable to gain new strength because you're in maintenance and not a big deficit. So yeah, but in the case, so basically you have kind of like, you have the same amount of work. It's like when you're moving houses or apartments, you're like, God, we can get the big ass TV and couch right now and then do all the little stuff, or the other way around. And the reason I am using that analogy is you can lose weight pretty fast, and then you'll have a period after where you're like, God, I got to maintain this and like really build a lot of strength. Or you can do both at the same time, which just requires you to lose a little bit slower.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to see that diagram because everything you just said was like Egyptian to me. But no, it did actually make a lot of sense. And just so you know, Zach, I'm kind of in the same boat because I did the GLP-1 patch. It wasn't GLP, it was like an organic version, whatever. And I went from 270 down to 240. I'm back up to 245 because I'm a giver. Some of the weight wanted to come back. I said, okay, come on, come over here, come over here. But I haven't been able to lose weight since. And I'm not guilty as heck. I love me some chocolate. And I don't work out currently as much as I should, if at all, etc. And I love barbecuing for friends. So damn it, I'm going to hell. But I want to find a way to get muscle mass back, not like you, because I wouldn't be able to fit through doors. Just, get some of that, whatever, musculature back, because I did lose a lot of that, which is nerve-wracking when you get to my age. You're still young with dreams and hopes and crap, but I mean, I'm 54 now, darn it. It's a downward spiral.
You're just a puppy.
I'm just, but it is wild.
You're just a puppy.
But you do get to a point where you're like,
right.
like, why is part of my arm hanging down? Like, it's weird. So anyway, we should talk, and we will offline because I'm embarrassed now.
No, don't be embarrassed. Are you what's the like main the question kind of like?
Oh, there's supposed to be a question there. That's cute. Have you met me? No, I mean, we'll talk offline about how can I get some of that physical strength back, right? Plus, I nerve damage from a previous accident and stuff like that. So the last journey of the year has been weird because some of those things that were once gone are now coming back. And that freaks me out because in my brain, I'm like, I have Lou Gehrig's, or, what disease is going to be inserted into the slot this time. So I need to get out of my head, right? So maybe talking to a professional will help. Chad is not the professional that's been helpful in that regard. Sorry, JP. Don't ever put your pain symptoms into chat, boys and girls. Trust me, it is not pretty. It gives you the top 3 options of how quickly you're going to die. So anyway, okay. Sorry, it's a train of thought completely left the station. We're going to go ahead and go into the speech breakout if that's okay. This is where Zac gets to throw his ham hock sized legs up on the table and relax for a moment. We get to talk about target market, what people and or businesses would need as presenter services.
People who want to look good naked.
Yeah.
I would
Nude
also
beach
say
stragglers, right?
people that want a TEDx talk because they got to get on a stage and they got to look cute on stage.
Oh,
So there's a vanity in the professional realm for public speakers for
Yeah.
sure.
I like that. I think it'd be really cool. I don't know how possible this is, Zac, but if businesses were willing to offer wellness, if they get back into that modality, I mean, look at Mike. He's stuck in a hamster cage, although today it's a lizard cage with the heat light, or heat lamp. I mean, if businesses were to put a little bit of money into that sort of thing, right? Like get you in front of these people, get them up from their cubicles and do stretches or something. That's totally random, but I think that'd be so cool if someone would do that, right, Mike?
I couldn't agree more. I thought, what a great thing to present to sales teams. Zac, you did a fantastic job of talking about the why of all this. Making you feel better, making you present better, making you feel more confident, and all of that in my world results in more sales. It absolutely does. And so, you've hit upon this sweet spot of time management and business effectiveness that really is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I'd also say people who are a little bit competitive, like couples who are competitive, and maybe they're complaining about like dad bod or mom bod. But the whole video game aspect was interesting too. It's like, man, if you're a gamer, like come play the fitness game. Like to me, there could be a really cool just gamification of being how good can you look naked? I don't know. Like have some fun with that. But I think people are vain in general
Yeah,
and couples too. It's like, yeah, let's get sexy together, you know?
I love
You
it.
want somebody else to look better naked.
Yeah. I want someone to want to look at me naked. Anyway, no, so kid, ding ding ding. Key conversations as Rosie collapses in a heap. What triggers a referral? What comments should members be leaving out there, tagging them on, etc. How about Zac creating some content that we can refer to and share out? Here's the challenge. Zac, big guy, come on.
Zac, I know you asked me for time this week too, and the answer is yes. I have time in the afternoon tomorrow. But here's what I would say: it's an interesting thing to me because my brother's also in the fitness industry. Out of Dallas, and he really liked the idea out of Dallas because there's just a lot of huge corporate buildings. In Japan, there is a lot of instead of individual trainings where a personal trainer is. We have one that comes to the house twice a week. He also does corporate trainings. And I happened to see him on my morning walks out with, a big office building out on the front lawn, and they're doing like the Zen stretching, I guess you'd call it yoga stretching or something like that with office buildings during their break times or during their lunch times where the workers all come down and my understanding from the few brief conversations I've had with him, the company pays for it. A trainer shows up at the break time, and 10 to 20 people walk down on the lawn or in the parking lot or wherever it is in the mall area and do their exercises. Is that something that Americans would take to? My brother really liked the idea, and he said, I don't know. I'll try it a couple in Dallas. But I would think that in Seattle, there would be quite a few people that would do something like that. Just get out and stretch during your break.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and you could just show up at the company and go, hey, I facilitate these things all the time. As many as you want from your company to come down, and we're going to stretch, or we're going to walk around the block, or we're going to, do jumping jacks or whatever the hell. But, obviously in Japan, I see it all the time when you walk down through the parks as they're all doing those, what do you call that? The morning Zen training?
I wonder if it's probably Tai Chi, I'm guessing.
Yes, I think that's what they call it.
Probably
that's what they call it. Yeah, because you see I see probably a full street block of them 2 deep all the way down the park when I go in the mornings.
No, you're honestly like, it's one of the things I wanted to talk about in one-to-one, because you had mentioned that in a different,
Right.
a different meeting that we had, different PNA meeting, is
Uh-huh.
like what ways I could, in addition to like one-to-one clients, because you're limited, your time is
Right.
expendable, and I don't want to give people cookie cutter bullshit. I want it to be
Right.
good stuff. And so like the ways that you can franchise and cohort, etc. Like that's a whole, like that is, kind of your way out of the machine, it seems, in my industry.
Right.
And I would like to get my feet wet, but also like can't really be honest. I can't honestly say like I know what I should be doing in regards with that.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's put together some funny ones. I'm happy to share any of those ideas with you on a one-on-one if you want to do that. But I know he did for a while for a church group. One church group asked him, moms with strollers in the mall.
Nice.
And so he did that, filmed it, and then he put it out as a video series for churches across the US, and those kinds of things that he does quite a bit. And I've asked him if he'd come to Japan and do the walker tour with me, because I have one with a little honk horn on my walker.
Of course you do.
But yeah. So
And he doesn't even leave his left blinker on the whole time. He even
that's
turns it on.
correct. Yeah, it's a right blinker in Japan.
So
just to be clear.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of a good segue into beneficial syndications like video. What should he be doing on video, posting online, flexing in the banana thong or whatever? Social media, community groups, where should he be posting that you're going to do that sort of baby carriage walkathon thing or whatever? Sponsorships, etc. What do we think? Where do we think he should be showing up? Marcel's taking a deep breath. I don't know if she's supposed to go off mute. Ready, set, go.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas. Probably my best one, and
Will be the
I think, Zach, you should create your own Facebook group that you can lead and go live and do your Tai Chi live, or like show us the squats every day at noon and go live for 7 minutes and just make it, maybe not noon because we're here, but like 2:22, whatever. Like have a time of day where you just go live for people who are like, oh yeah, I could probably get off my dumb little couch here and do 10 squats with Zach. Like, but if you create a group, you then like, and if you make it a public group, we could all just invite friends to it, right? Like that's really fast lead generation. But I've got a couple health coach friends too that I could just add you to their groups probably. So
well, I love those ideas, and plus, Zach, I like TV. I'm guilty, right? The end of a long day, I'll watch a couple hours, whatever it is. Sometimes it's an embarrassing amount of hours, not often, but point is, I like shows. What could I be doing when I'm sitting on my couch? Should I have a 10-pound barbell or a 10-pound chicken that I'm eating? I mean, I like what should I be doing that can help me even if I'm sitting on my butt? Do the grippers with the long rubberized rubber band stupid thing that I step on and do stupid things and feel like I'm making a difference in my life, is that worth it? Like, you're the only guy that I know that is into fitness where, and I'm not picking on you here, I actually find it oddly mesmerizing. I have no video of you, right? Like, you don't have a ton of active videos of you flexing and going, step into a Slim Jim or whatever. There's none of that. So either you're AI or you're just modest.
Finally got it. You finally caught me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, is there a glitch or something? But I mean, like, if you did videos about what could my dumbass do if I'm sitting watching a show, and if I'm on a chair versus a couch, what could I do? Like stuff like that, I'm going to share the hell out of that. You know what I mean? Like to go syndicate out to my network. And if any of that stuff can point back to your site or to your app or whatever, then you're going to win, right? So give us content that we can share. At the same time, I also loved your presentation because it was the least visual, yet with visuals, but words that created visuals I think I've ever seen.
Most visually non-visual award.
Yeah, it was visually non-visual. And I'm like, where the hell are the pictures of you going, "Rah!" Like, nothing. There were no Hulk pics, but it was just as effective if it were a bunch of pictures of you bench pressing Marcel with Lilo and Chewy, my two dogs. Anyway, yeah, maybe I should start bench pressing my dog, but Anyway, I'm gonna stop.
Add some resistance to your TV channel changer.
Yes,
But
that's true. Man.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, anything else on the beneficial syndications, or have I blown enough horns here?
I'd say LinkedIn, although I know LinkedIn is problematic in terms of videos and they've changed how they sort of auto place things like that. But if the audience includes busy professionals, LinkedIn might be a terrific way to host content, and maybe not video, maybe it's text content, because I know things like ChatGPT and others pull from LinkedIn, but often pull text most from
Yes.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, and that's thought too, Zach, not so much about where to syndicate, but what to show. Literally show us the chicken, the tuna, the salmon, show us how these meat staples that you talk about. And then challenge us to show it back and tag your brand, right? So, hey, Rosie, once you figured out your 6 staples, tag me on Instagram. Hey, Marcel, once you figure out your 12, tag me. So then you're resharing our stuff. And now Sarah and all these new people are like, oh, Rosie loves pork fried rice too, or whatever, So, like, make it fun to get your staples. Because I think that there's a gamifying, like, once you figure that shit out, then you just eat your staples, right? But make that part of your brand, because I haven't heard anybody else say that.
Yeah, excellent.
Because we all want to be naked. Someone
Zach, what I'd say really quick is, to Michael's LinkedIn, if you don't have it, type in what you call yourself on your LinkedIn in your search box. It'll give you, because it's an SEO engine, it'll give you the top 20 or 100 people based on that search. Go through and look what every single one of them does and why they came up at the top of your search, and do that 2 or 3 times with 2 or 3 different job titles. Now you'll have a good picture of why LinkedIn is showing these people at the top. And I'd go through which groups they're in, what certifications they say they have, those kinds of things. You can do AI to do that super fast, and I'm happy to show you how to do that. But Facebook, same thing, is if you find Facebook or YouTube channels, who are the top people in your industry, and YouTube top influencers, and just pull it all into AI and go, here's me, here's them, what could I do better? What tools could I put in my tool belt?
Yeah.
And that would probably take you about a half an hour.
You guys are giving me tons of gold nuggets. This is really cool. Absolutely, dude. I would love to see how to do this.
That's why we're here, my man. All right, folks, last section of the speech breakout, other categories. What other businesses can we bring in that might be directly connected or connectable to him by way of the referrals? Kind of a power partner type of thing, to steal a BNI term. Rosie's familiar with that. Definitely, I just, everybody in the medical field. I know he is. Yeah, a naturopath, a chiropractor, acupuncturist. That'd be great if we get someone like that in here. Any other categories can we think of?
Even like a nutritionist, like I in one of my other groups, I know one that came a few times, but she's a nutritionist that can accept insurance. So it's a little bit, which I never knew that could happen, but someone in that field, I think would be good.
Super good partnership. If you can make it work, it is.
Yeah, and actually, most nutritionists do not work with insurance, at least from my previous experience, because the insurance world thinks they're a bunch of, fake things, and it's not real, and they don't recognize it. They can't duplicate it, like chemically, so they don't want to support it. So yeah, nutritionists tend to be their own black sheep out there, but they're incredibly knowledgeable, and actually open to working with almost all of the fields. Believe it or not, a life coach. We did have a PT person years ago in the Bothell chapter. We're talking years ago, and the chiropractor and the the life coach were great referral sources, because sometimes it boils down to what makes you unhappy in life, person that's sitting on the couch, and it ends up being their physical being and or their state of mind, etc. A lot of that can be flushed out when you're sweating to the oldies, Any other categories we can think of? If not, okay. Huge congratulations, everybody. Y'all burned through that. That is great. Um, I sent this out recently. I didn't hear back from anybody, and I don't know if y'all got it. So I'm sharing this once again. I do have a file. I can send it to you all. Maybe you didn't get it because the size of the file or something. But the ecosystem that is PNA, especially digital PNA, is a much bigger beast. Now, yes, JP, you should be proud of me. I've been working on this for about 2 months by way of the chat and the prompts and all that fun stuff. And I'm a firm believer of anchor categories. This is just some of them, but every chapter has or tends to have someone who does insurance, someone who does legal, advertising, marketing, coaches, contractors, etc. But the amount of people that they are direct referral partners to, but then the other ones they can think of upstream for more lead sources, downstream for outsourced partners. I want you all to think about this when we're looking at who we could bring into digital P&A, because we're covering the whole state and then some hypothetically. But right now, we don't have an insurance agent in here. We don't have a financial advisor in here. We don't have a coach in here. We don't have a general contractor in here. Notice a symptom here happening. These are categories that all of us could reach into our networks and find and invite to this group. So I want to challenge you guys to help grow this group. That's just a simple ask. We can pour marketing dollars till we're blue in the face, have historically through 22 or 2002 on, nothing's ever worked more than invitations. So I want you to think about that. Not having some uber serious moment right now or anything. I'm just saying, think about that, who you know, and then again, who you know might know. Because if people start to get business, if they start to get education, if they start to witness someone like Zac getting stoked because he got feedback on his presentation, no other organization does that alone. Maybe that's worth more than getting referrals, growing his mindset, making him a better speaker and presenter, and or having a lot of other exciting ideas to grow his business. That's all coming from us. So I think it's something to be proud of. But I want you to think about this. So did any of you get this in email last month? Mike did?
It looks familiar. I believe I did.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that you're getting it because I do think some people have me on spam, and that's I'm not taking it personally. It's just make sure that you look for it, right? But I want to make sure that you have this and even have it on you. Print the darn thing out because you might not realize that a divorce attorney could be attached to a bookkeeper, a detailer, a mortgage, etc. I mean, who knows? Okay, done with that. Kind of just covered that. These are the ones we always ask for. I would love it if we consider that, but at the same time, it can literally be anybody, folks. It really, really could. Anybody who has a business that wants to get exposure and learn from each other. I think that should be kind of the key takeaway. So, referrals or testimonials? Let's do that next. Stop the share here for a second. Who's got a referral or testimonial? Speak to
I
it.
do.
Yes.
So I had a good one with Zac last week, and Zac, just so you know, I did cancel my Pilates membership, so I'm moving my money over to you soon, very soon. So we'll have closed business probably by next meeting.
That's exciting.
I
Congratulations.
can't wait. I want to gamify it, and I'm already doing the one app, so it'll just be I got to figure out how to get into your app, and then I'm gonna bench Chewy also. I think like I need home-based skills. Like I'm not going to the gym just yet, but I'm excited to maybe get there one day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
Anyone else? Referral or testimonial?
Yeah, so I actually kind of wanted to comment and give kudos to Zac on the presentation because when he talked about like what my ears popped open is when he's saying for nutrition for weight loss is to increase your protein. That is like 1,000% true. And what I did recently, it wasn't based, well, he kind of guided me to help me like monitor, like start tracking my food. And he said, but then I switched to a straight carnivore diet for about a month, and that was mostly to try to do an elimination diet to see what sensitivities I have. But he's right. It's like when I was on it, I felt I have lost, I was 190. I'm now 170, and that was just in a
Yeah.
month and a half. Yeah,
Nice.
and
Congratulations.
Yeah, and so I was just like, holy cow, what changed, you know? But the only thing, you know, it's because I'm mostly having protein. I'm now adding some vegetables back in and found that like water-based vegetables are fine for me and everything else.
Mhm.
But it's pretty amazing that I'm like, and I'm not starving myself. I'm not doing a crash diet. I eat until I'm full, but I'm still losing the weight. And so, um, oh yeah, Brian. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm. Is ice cream included in the carnivore diet?
Uh,
It comes from a cow.
carnivore means like pretty much eliminating sugar too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I guess no.
no, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I've brought it back in honey, which is a natural sugar, you know, but I don't use a lot of it. So it's all about like you said, you don't have to like not go without it, but it's changing it. I'm still getting like my
Right.
sweet kick from the honey when I add it to my coffee or whatever else or tea, but I'm not having you know, two like a full cup of ice cream. That's like 2 scoops or something like that.
That's
And the
awesome.
strange thing is I'm not craving it after doing the diet. So a lot of people think you start craving it. No, when you're on it long term and at first it's hard, but then all of a sudden your body's like, you don't need it. You
Yeah,
know, and so
Right.
good for
it
you.
well, thank you. But it's so I just want to say thank you for the presentation because it solidified everything I've done for the last month. So
That's awesome. Hey, I wanted to thank, I guess the only one on this call is Marcel, but I've been thanking everyone in the chapter meetings I've been to, those who participated at the Mill Creek Festival this past weekend. It was 2 days, it was crazy, it was hotter than Hades. But once again, there weren't really a ton of tire kickers. People were engaging with us on multiple levels. Marcel had about 1,000 forms filled out. I'm sure she'll mention something about that. I have a couple opportunities regarding P&A potential folks. The bookkeeper looks like she might have landed 2 clients, 2 general contractors got business opportunities. It's really neat. It was the 25th anniversary. It was a fun time. So it does seem to be it does seem to be turning out to being worth that investment for those who participated. So thank you, Marcel. And I'll be quiet. Anybody? Anything else?
I second Rosie's comments about Zach's presentation. Really, really great. I loved that you gave kind of waypoints during the presentation. I'm here, I'm going to be going here, and I'll circle back to this and
Mhm.
ending with the app, which is both actionable and eye candy. Well done. Really well done.
Agreed.
Well, and I want to give a shout out to JP because while a lot of this was my brilliance, I ran it through ChatGPT and be like, hey, make this a little bit better. Like, how is this more on brand? And then it was. And then like last minute in the morning, I had a couple no's walk by at the festival. I asked Chat on the go, I was like, what are some open-ended questions to ask strangers at a festival? And it gave me some questions that like it was crazy, you guys. The other 2 tables, I'm not gonna mention names of PNA, but I think they were like, how is she so magical? And well, I'm adorable. ChatGPT was my like secret adorable script. And so thanks,
Yeah.
JP, for that. And
No
PNA for
worries.
the opportunity, of course.
No
Because it was
worries.
like,
I'm seeing it in a lot of spots now. I think I already told you the story about I had a washer and dryer delivered, and the guy breaks out a picture took a picture of my door to figure out how to get it off. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? That kind of stuff is just
that's wild.
amazing to me to see. So
That
I'm using it a lot in the translations. Hey, here's the circumstances. The word sounded like X, and it tells me here's the word.
yeah.
That's not something you can do on
that's funny.
um, on a translation program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have a thank you to Rosie for my bookkeeping. So I don't know, 12 years ago, whoever set up, I've been around business for 16 years, but whoever set up my QuickBooks account had put me in like maybe 2 very lame categories. And so I was telling Rosie a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't understand like where's my big revenue coming from? Like how do you really like I wanted it. So
Hmm.
she went in, looked at all my I have like 25 product descriptions, so it's a little bit overwhelming, but she helped me categorize. I think we're at 5 now, looking
yeah.
at 5 different lines of revenue. And it's just really cool. So I'm excited. So use your bookkeeper. Like if you do have frustrations, like she will hear you and be like, here's the solution. So
Yeah.
thank you, Miss Rosie.
You're welcome.
Okay, we need to move on. I'm sorry to hopefully I didn't cut that short. I just want to share really quickly that if you're local-ish, we do have a comedy show this Friday night. Pretty much Marcel's going to be there. She works it with me. And of course, my guess, the only one else local is Mike, throwing you under the bus. Come on out. But we do have that comedy show. It's going to be a great one. And then I also want to remind folks that you all have the invitation in your inboxes as well as the social media Facebook event, the public facing page for PNA. RSVP, please RSVP to the picnic. You can do it on the Facebook event or send me an email back your head count. You and family members. This is not a guest event. This is family and or you, like I mentioned. For some reason I just reversed that. And then if you're going to bring a side dish, let me know. I do all the burgers and dogs and buns and soft drinks and water. It is a public park. Those who have asked me if you can drink, yes, but not alcohol, please. It is a public park. You will get arrested. But it's fun because people like Rosie in the past have brought lumpia, which was incredibly popular. I hope I said that right. I'm an idiot. But other people brought other crazy fun stuff. And if you do come, please, for the love of God, bring some Tupperware because afterwards pile up some leftovers and then get the heck out of Dodge and get home safely. 4 to 8 p.m. I know it says 3 to 9. That's technically a typo, but that's how long I have the space rented for, 3 to 9. So show up during that time too. That's fine. August 5th. And then last but not least, you all see the cruise there. That is for next year. It is May 2027. I do need to let you all know that it's going to be a hell of a fun time. We did it for almost 4 years ago, and it was a heck of a fun time then too. But prices, the price lock we have for everything will start to go up just a smidge as of August 4th. So if you think you can go, even if you get an inside cabin starting at about $1,800 per person instead of the ones with the balconies, which start at about $2,500 per person, that's still a crap ton off. But prices will start to go up August 4th. It's a $500 security deposit or just deposit, excuse me. They have programs right now to help cut that cost in half, but lock in your prices now. You can cancel anytime up until like a month before the trip if life happens. But get the prices you want now versus it could go up in August $20 a ticket. It could go up $200 per ticket. We have no way of knowing. That's just the industry. So if you want to come, if you're going to try to make it happen by at least committing to the deposit. Contact Jim. Go to the website on the homepage or the PNA Cruise tab. Click, follow the links, get in touch with Jim, get that deposit in. It's going to be a heck of a good time. All right, folks, done with the sharings of the screens and stuff. If I can get it to stop, I think I already did, right? All right. Rotation, just so you all know, August 5th is Marcel again. The 20th is Rosie. And if we all want a larger speaker rotation, guess what we have to do? Invite some more people. Let's get some more members and categories that we all could benefit from. That's it for us. Anyone have anything else to say before we go? If not, scamper back to the forest. We made it, hump day. Have a phenomenal rest of your week, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks, guys.